How are we suffering? Why is the white population falling faster than white births? How can this even be a question in our society today? I mean, we are suffering from what I call white noir, which is the physical, mental, and spiritual trauma that is inflicted upon us by the infection of mean pathogens. There's also the fact that we know that we are persecuted. We know that we are discriminated against when it comes to hiring, when it comes to enrollment, when it comes to getting good grades, when it comes to promotions and raises. It's harder for white people today to find a quality mate. It's harder for us to stay in relationships than it has ever been because our people are so sick and they have been propagandized. But we're exploited. We are exploited for our tax dollars. We're exploited for the value that we create in our civilizations. We are exploited for the hospitality and the safety that we create, the stability that we create in Western civilization. We are endlessly exploited and persecuted, and yet we are forced to pretend that the opposite is the case, that in fact that we are in charge of everything and that we are reaping these great benefits and that everyone else is long suffering and wrongly put upon. So that engenders a real psychosis of sorts. I mean, we are dehumanized, we're demoralized, demeaned, depressed, devalued, browbeaten, we're humiliated. We suffer from hostile anti-white environments in all spheres of our lives. We suffer from grossly unfair anti-white regulations and rules. We suffer from general societal blame. We're bullied and intimidated by anti-whites. We're alienated from our own societies. Our right of self-expression is restricted and denied. We're marginalized and sidelined in our own civilization. We are disempowered. We're disenfranchised. For God's sake, our right to life is put into question, is denied us by way of the dictum that states that the only good white person is an anti-white white person. We have to apologize for being white. We're made to hate ourselves, our history, our bodies. We're made to feel common and unimportant by way of the comparison with non-whites who are celebrated as special and unique, and they're given preferential treatment and special privileges everywhere in our society. Our experiences don't matter. So all of that teaches us what the regime actually feels and thinks about our people. It shows us the low value that the regime places on our people and thereby on us as a result. I mean, we're hauled before anti-white tribunals at our universities and our places of work for deviating from anti-whiteism. And when we're not fired or expelled, we incur permanent stigmata on our records. We have to constantly fear social lynching. What other group has to fear that? No one. We have to constantly fear the social lynching that begins with some anti-white aspersion and then often ends with ostracism and character and career assassination. We suffer from omnipresent structural inequities that advance, enrich, and empower non-whites at the expense of detriment to and ruination of our people and therefore us in general. And we're not allowed to complain about any of this because if we complain about our victimization, the anti-whites say, well, that proves everything that we're saying about you. And then they force us to fund with our genius, our talents, our abilities, the harmonization of the diversity. All of this is supposed to give us such strength, and that we're forced to say is a big strength for us. We have to pay in so many ways to harmonize it, to make it work. So you have all of these different industries, public and private sector bureaucracies and departments, classes and codes, laws, trainings, all of this to make sure that the diversity works. If it's a strength, then it would just work. We wouldn't have to invest so much in making it work. And then we're subjected to these conditions of life that are clearly calculated to bring about white erasure. No wonder we have so many whites not reproducing. No wonder we have so many whites committing suicide, using drugs, in poverty, depressed. No wonder. And then when we complain publicly, we are attacked with disgusting and physical attacks by these anti-white cretins in the streets. So yeah, this is a wholesale attack. This is white erasure.